Well, hello everyone. I am Matt Williamson at Williamson NFL on Twitter, X, whatever, as well as my YouTube page. Go check that out. Let me fill you in a little bit on Cameron Johnston right off the bat here, the punter they signed from the Texans. And he is a professional, solid punter that's making professional starting punters type money now from the Steelers. And that adds up. I mean, this team has to win in the margins. They can't be crappy at punter like they were. So here's some numbers I think you'll get a kick out of. Is his hang time wasn't great last year. He was 28th. He also has punted in bad weather, so I think that's important. He was 28th in hang time. He was 17th in yards per punt, but he was 6th in net yards per punt, and he was also 6th in punts inside the 20. Best of all, he was 3rd in fair catches forced. So you'd think his hang time would be awesome with all those numbers. So I don't know the details of why that all adds up, to be very honest with you. But it sounds like he controls the football very well. He has punted in weather, as I mentioned. So there you have it. I mean, I think it's I know it's an upgrade. I think it's money well spent. It was something that had to happen. It's better than bringing in 2 free agent punters, an old guy and a rookie, and having them compete all through camp. You get that holder, snapper, kicker, situation all down immediately, and hopefully it works well. Now, I'm getting more and more of a feeling that Deontay truly is, I don't want to say on the block, but at least is being considered to move. A couple birdies have sort of mentioned that, hey, don't sleep on this, that there's going to be interest around the league. I just hope the compensation is at least a 3rd round pick. I mean, at least. I mean, if a team like Carolina offers you the first pick in the 3rd round, I guess I get it, but this isn't the time and need to be creating more team needs, and that's kind of exactly what they would be doing. But the receiver class is very, very rich, and you could go sign somebody on, 3-4 million and draft one high, and I would understand that. I mean, I would understand it. So I think there's a possibility he does get moved. Folks, BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or your mobile devices. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team, and remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. First off, if you told me the first 3 Steeler moves of the offseason were going to be Wilson, a punter, and Patrick Queen, I would have thought you were nuts. I mean, I misjudged this path quite a bit. I didn't think Wilson would be for them. I thought Queen would be too expensive, that they wouldn't go that heavy at linebacker. And hey, the punter, but I didn't exactly go down that road and scout punters either. I love this move. The guaranteed money has not yet been revealed. This just came out a second ago, basically, and I was considering the dollars. He was projected to make much, much more, is what the people that I trust that project these contracts. $3,041,000 overall, over 3 years. I don't know what the guaranteed are. I'm sure it's a good chunk. I also bet they could probably get out of it after 2 years if they wanted. But he's only 24 and a half years old, by the way. I mean, he's very young. And just stick with the contract here for a second. Players with his pedigree, youth, mixed with experience, as well as athleticism, which is a high level, that are playing as well as he has over the last year and a half, usually make a ton of money. And the linebacker market is 5 or 6 guys that are making a ton, which I thought Queen would. I thought he'd get between 18 and 20, which I was not in on that kind of money. But Steelers got him much cheaper. And there's a The linebacker class right now is kind of like 5 or 6 studs. Tremaine Edmonds got paid huge like that last year. Then there's a gap, and then there's the next group. And they kind of got Queen somewhere in that gap, which is pretty impressive, if not the group below. So for the money, I love it. Every down guy, Omar Khan at the Combine basically said, linebacker's a problem, no spot for us, which was not a ringing endorsement for Holcomb and his availability. So they went after it hard. I did not see this coming. So my big question with Queen still is, boy, when they traded for Roquan in Baltimore, he was so much better. Now, is that because he had a stud next to him? Is that because they took the green dot duties off him? As we often say, you don't want to draft linebackers in the first round because it usually takes them about 3 years or so until they really get the sense of the NFL and the speed of it. Did that just happen to click when they got Roquan? So my question was, can he be Batman? I know he can be Robin, but can he be Batman? And Roquan, to me, is one of the top, probably the second best linebacker in the whole league. But Queen's play was very similar. Now, it's not like Watt and Highsmith, for example, or 2 edge rushers where everyone's rolling coverage one direction and so the other guy gets freed up. I mean, these are linebackers off the ball, coverage stuff. It's not, so yes, it helps to play next to a great player. Also a great defensive coordinator, a great defense. All those things were in play for him. But I think this is a tremendous risk at the money, of course, as we've talked about. He obviously knows the division. He knows Lamar. He knows, he's had great success over this last year and a half. So I just have a handful of bullet points here I wanted to talk about with him. He was quite disappointing his first 2.5 seasons in the league. I've written about this. I've told you about it over and over. That is very common for high pedigree, great athlete linebackers. Now, he definitely played his best football as soon as they traded for Smith, which was a year and a half ago. It was midway through the season. He was good in 2022, but he was great in 2023. His yards per completion and yards per target were outstanding in the best of his career. I mean, he's an every down player that excels in coverage. Again, some of the stuff I'm looking at, we're projecting him to make $18 million a year. He cleans up the run game really well. I mean, he flies around the field. He's excellent in coverage, as I mentioned. He's a great blitzer, and he's more than just a free blitzer. He has an array of pass rush moves. He'll run over running backs. 133 tackles last year, 3.5 sacks, 18 pressures. And that's the number that stands out to me. It's from an off-the-ball linebacker to have 18 pressures. He attacks those blitzes hard. Really beats up on running backs, but can also give guards and centers a tough time. He had an interception. He had 6 pass breakups. He can produce in zone. He has a good feel for it. Good enough player to play man against running backs. First round pick in 2020. He started 67 straight games since entering the league, so he's been reliable and durable. He's coming off his best season, of course. He was second team All-Pro this past year. Yeah, pretty good. Again, he runs really well, blitzes really well. Run and pass, I would say he's an equal player against both. It can be a little impulsive, a little reactionary. I mean, that's not uncommon, but that's becoming less and less common than it was early in his career. But man, he makes a lot of plays, and he flies around the field. Only 24. He'll be 25 when the season starts. Entering his prime, a fantastic season he's coming off of. Part of a major contributor on what I think was the best defense in the league. And again, he was a bit of a Robin to Roquan's Batman, but, Roquan wasn't available. Strong against the run, strong in coverage. That's 2 seasons in a row. 48 quarterback pressures and 8 sacks over the past 2 seasons. And both are second amongst all off-ball linebackers. So over the last 2 years, only one off-the-ball linebacker has more pressures or more sacks than Queen. So that is going to be a major part of his situation here too, of course. So that's what I got for you. Pretty exciting, to be honest with you. And a bigger fish than I thought they would get at linebacker. And I would assume this pretty much ends their linebacker needs. Maybe they'll use a 5th, 6th, 7th round pick on one as a project to challenge Mark Robinson. But they nailed him. They got the best linebacker on the market, in my opinion. So over and out. Take care.